This is Alexandra, your tutor, and this is going to be the third SPSS video going over cross tables. So working with probabilities in SPSS. So to find the cross tables in SPSS, here are the instructions as always. You can also find them in our lesson slides, but again, they are here to, just give you a reminder. So in SPSS, we need to go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Crosstabs, select our rows and columns, and then decide whether or not we want percents in the cells, and then run it. So let's do that for the Workers 200 SPSS file. So let's go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then we need to go to Crosstabs. So that just means cross tables. So when we go there, we need to pick our rows and our columns. So just for simplicity, we can just maybe go with gender, and then maybe let's just go with type of firm in the columns. So we have gender and then type of firm in the columns. And it doesn't really matter which one you put in the row and which one you put in the column. It's going to be basically the same thing. So you don't really need to mess around with any of these other specifications. But the one thing that I was talking about in terms of deciding whether or not you want percentages is right here. So whether you want all the percentages of the entire crosstabs, or maybe you just want the total percentages, it really is up to you. I'm going to run it once without the percentages and then run it again with the percentages to show you all the difference. So the rest of this stuff you don't really need to look at. It's just the percentages part that maybe you want to have whenever you're doing this in the exam. So here you have the rows and the columns. We don't really need to do anything else. So then let's just click OK and see what our output gives us. So as you can see here is the crosstab between the type of firm and the gender. So here we have the total number of participants, which is 200. And as you can see, 117 of those 200 are male and 83 are female. And then 123 out of those 200 participants are in a purely domestic firm. And as you can see, they are separated for all of the different types of both firms and then also gender. So if you were looking maybe for like a joint probability, so what is the probability that someone is male and they are in a foreign multinational enterprise firm, you would just have to see where male and foreign multinational enterprise intersect. And here you see that 24 participants out of the 200 are both male and then also participate in a foreign multinational enterprise firm. So that's how you kind of go through this cross table. And like I said, I'm also going to show you how to run it with the percentages and how it looks in comparison to this one without any percentages. So again, let's go to our data set. We go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and again, let's go to Crosstabs. But this time, let's go to Cells and then click Total Percentages. So if you click row and column, it's going to be pretty overwhelming. So we're just going to pick total because I think that one is the most important out of the three. And then let's click OK again and see what our results give us. So here we can see now percentages of total. So that means that the percentage of our total number of participants that is male is 58.5%. Or for female, 41.5% out of 100% are female. So these percentages are basically your probabilities just in percentage form. So what I mean by that is, like we saw in the, just an example is saying, okay, what is the probability that someone is male and they are in a foreign multinational enterprise? That was 24 out of 200. So in this case, we have 24 and 200, just like we saw in this original table. However, now it gives us the percentage as well. So instead of having to do the work on our own and take 24 divided by 200, it already has done that for us. So as you can see, 12% or 0.12 is the probability that someone is male and they are in a foreign multinational enterprise. So 12% out of the 100% is both male and in foreign multinational enterprise. So as you can see, these percentages, they basically do some of the work for us in terms of calculating the probabilities. So these are the joint probabilities. So every single percentage within the table is joint probabilities. And then these at the very bottom are our single probabilities. So the probability that a participant is in a purely domestic firm is 61.5%, as you can see here in the bottom. And that 61.5% is the equivalent of saying 123 out of 200 participants is in a purely domestic type of firm. So the percentages, again, make it a little bit easier for you in terms of calculating the probabilities because they remove that extra step that you had to do in the beginning that you would have had to do with this original crosstab. But again, sometimes the percentages can be a little bit hard to see in relation to the actual number. So either way, you could use either table. I would honestly recommend using the percentage table, but if you were more comfortable with using this more simple table, what I would recommend in that situation is calculating just using this simple table and then checking your answers or checking your probabilities with the percentages table. So if you were asked for a joint probability, again, of maybe female and purely domestic, so 47 out of 200, you could use this simple table, calculate 47 divided by 200 and get the probability. And then just to double check, you could also look at your percentage table for reference and see, okay, did I calculate 0.235 for female and purely domestic like it says here in the table? And if they are both the same, then that means that you solved the question correctly or solve the joint probability question correctly, and then you have a way of double checking that. So that's a good tip in case you want to check your work whenever you're in the exam and if they ask you to do some sort of cross table like this. So that's just a little thing about percentages versus just the normal simple cross table without anything. So that's going to be it for this video, just over cross tables. I wanted to keep it really simple and short. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Next videos are going to be up really, really soon. So for now, just look in the SPSS playlist I have shared with y'all on YouTube for the other SPSS videos that I've made so far. And yeah, stay tuned for the rest of them. But thank you guys again. Bye.